I believe that both players are playing Mardu colours with vehicles.
Yep.
So Peachin starts off Inspiring Vantage into Toolcraft Exemplar, and then Calvin Chen with a basic mounted into Bomat Courier attacking for 1.
And no blocks from Chun.
Yeah, I
And
think
this might be a really fast matchup. Like,
yeah.
but it's a very different flavor. Like, look at like Kelvin is running Nerd Ape.
And there's Bomat Courier for Peachin.
Yep.
So both players playing like aggressive flavors of red. We don't have deck lists for standard yet. We should be getting them soon. But we had a quick look, and Peachin, I think, is playing Mardu.
Yeah.
And then and we'll see what happens. It's
interesting. Okay, so Calvin here, facing down quite a bit of power on the other side of the battlefield. And Pichun being the first seed, so he won first place, right? So he came into this tournament first place. He won his group. He went 2-0, and then and got reseeded into first place again. So whatever game he plays until the grand finals, he will be the first place.
And
right, he'll be able to go first.
Yeah, and you see a glint sleeve Siphoner for Calvin there. 1 to black for 2/1 menace. Whenever it comes into battlefield or you attack with it, gains 1 energy. So he's up to 2 energy already. So and fatal push there from Peachin
gets rid of it.
Yeah, I mean that is since we've talked previously about the bans in standard, but glint sleeve Siphoner I think is a card that people are really like right now. This is the next way to generate energy and then turn the energy into cards. It's a bit slower because it gets 1, but it has menace, and people aren't really blocking, leaving two like creatures back to block.
Yeah,
so
if you play the mono black deck in the past season, like this is all brand new standard. This is not like past season standard. If you play the mono black deck in the past season standard, you have like supernatural
stamina.
Yeah. Man, that just catches so many people off guard. +3/+0
and regenerate, but not called regenerate. But it's true.
Yeah, it's like.
But you get into the battlefield trigger, so it dies, and then it comes back, so you get another energy.
So amazing that card.
Amonkhet Limited All Star. We're going to see. So Calvin Chen cycling a Canyon Slough. Calvin Chen turn 3. He's facing down a Bomat Courier, a Toolcraft Exemplar, which is now larger because he's got artifacts, and then Peachin has an Ethersphere Harvester as well, which can be crude to block by the Bomat Courier.
Pretty good, actually.
Yeah, I mean Peachin has curved turn 1, turn 2, turn 3.
Pretty nice,
which is nice on the play.
Yep.
A mountain for Peachin.
And it looks like he just drew a Chandra, and
so he's going to crew Aethersphere Harvester, and then swinging
for
both.
6 points of damage potentially, and with the ability to give that Aethersphere Harvester some lifelink.
So Bomat Courier blocks the Toolcraft Exemplar. Yeah, Peachin gives the Aethersphere Harvester lifelink, so he's going to gain 3.
21,
yeah.
I think what Kelvin here is setting up is the fatal push potentially.
So Calvin didn't elect to use the Bomat Courier's effect to get the cards that it puts underneath it back to his hand. And then a Chandra Torture Defiance +1 showing a P and a La on top of the library, which he just lets go to exile. And then fatal push, as you said, on the Aethersphere Harvester.
Oh, but I don't like his chances, man. Like this, you're facing down a Chandra right now. Even Hazard, you're casting a Hazoret here. It's not going to be, you're not going to be able to attack with a Hazoret, and next turn might be your last. Like you're facing down 4 power on the other side of the board. That is, if Pichun just doesn't draw anything, 4 power, and then with the Chandra's ability to deal you 2 extra damage, that's 6 power. 6 damage on the board.
And Hazoret the Fervent. But Hazoret can't attack or block because
right now,
it's just a 4 mana do nothing, and then Chandra +1 ability against.
I'm going to shoot you for 2.
Sees the planes on top of the library, puts it into exile. Attack with both, and then a card under Bomat Courier. That's 4 points of damage. Calvin down to 2 already. Turn 5.
Hey, guess what? No Ramen Up Ruins. He needs to get a deal with that Chandra, unfortunately, and it doesn't seem like there is a way to do that.
3 minutes. So an Aethersphere Harvester for himself. So and a Glintley Siphoner to 4 energy. So the Hazaret can now crew the Sphere Harvester.
Yeah, but I mean,
Oh, he has one
he has
card in
one
hand,
card,
so it
yeah,
can.
so
So the
the-
Glintley Siphoner can crew, and that's and he just scoops it up.
yeah, that Chandra
Can just-
was
yeah.
threatening to just just kill him.
Wow, and that was a really quick game.
Easy game.
What we basically saw was Peach and go, on turn 1 I'll do something, on turn
Turn
2
two,
I'll
I'll
use
do
all my
something,
mana,
yeah.
turn 3, 4, 5 rinse and repeat, and going first I'll just put enough pressure on you that you have to be reactive and you have to block, and that isn't what Calvin Chen's deck wants to be doing. I don't think he wants to be. That's his plan as well. He wants to be attacking, using Glintley Siphoner aggressively, drawing more cards.
That's right. Yeah. So Calvin of course playing a slightly slower deck than Chun, and isn't able to keep up with Chun's pace.
Yeah.
Now we're watching the match here on Zhong Yi side of the table. So it's Lim Zhong Yi versus So Weng Heng. Zhong Yi here is playing
It looks like he's playing mono red.
mono red. Yeah.
He's playing mono red.
Reserve and-
Yeah, Hazaret,
okay.
Arncrop Crasher, Lightning Strike we saw. Yeah, that.
And I believe Weng Heng is playing New Perspective.
Oh,
Or at least
really?
the deck is called New Perspective, so it's probably perspective. What's that?
It's just a cycling deck that allows you to. So Weng Heng is playing standard by himself, basically.
Yes.
He's either going to win the game
or
he's going to
die.
lose the game before he's able to win the game, and he's not going to be doing much interaction in game 1 at least, anyway.
Yeah.
So yeah, I guess the New Perspective deck was popular in sort of standard-ish. It was like a fringe deck when
Yeah, when it
New
came out.
Perspective came out.
Yeah.
But I think the consensus was that it was either a turn or two too slow,
Mm-hmm.
or it was just so inconsistent because you needed to get to 6 mana, draw the New Perspective, then have 7 cards in hand, and then start going off.
Yes, as especially when what's the second Hour of Devastation came out?
Yeah.
Like there were so many aggressive red cards. You had the Kenra, you had what else? Ramanap Ruins and stuff like that. So these were way more aggressive than what the New Perspective decks could handle.
Yeah.
They ate up, mid-range decks easily, which made, Sultai Energy and Team Energy a little bit more difficult to play. So
And I think the reality is as well is that Team Energy has a very good game against sort of the New Perspective deck because it is able to play negates.
right, it has
With-
counter spells.
Yeah,
it has,
it's able to put pressure on by going like turn 1, or it did going turn 1 Attunement Aether, long Tusk Hub, going up the curb, Rogue Refiner, Bristling Hydra. So it can attack you like that, and then in game 2 and 3 in the sideboard, they can just go, well, I'm going to play my negates now.
I'm going to play a control game,
Yeah.
control-y game.
Yeah,
At least.
and then
Or at least my version of tempo is alright. So I'm gonna use a bit of control magic to make sure that you can't do what you want to do.
Yeah. But it's interesting choice that Weng Heng has brought to this tournament.
Yeah, it's okay. So I'm gonna say it like you don't bring a knife to a gunfight. Like this is when the format is new, when the format is brand new. Like everything's very aggressive. Usually there'll be like the aggro decks, and then Wei Hing's here is playing like something that is really, really quite slow. It takes time to set up, and it usually just goes down to okay, you had a very good draw, and the mono red decks usually have a very good draw. Like turn 1, I want to do something. Turn 2, turn 3, I want to do something. And then follow that up with a Hazaret, and that's the end of the game. And once you land a Hazaret, like it's a little bit tough to deal with. I don't think you can, maybe settle the wreckage,
Yeah.
maybe as a board wipe.
Yeah, sort of, yeah. But it's hard once they establish board presence.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, so what you're seeing here is that both players have access to each other's deck lists,
Yep.
and the deck lists are public.
Yep.
So, at the end of the tournament, you will see all the 16 deck lists of the players who've been playing today. You have all that information up on our Facebook, as well as, the public information or the updated standings was also on greyogames.com if you want to find out where, who's made it through and who hasn't. Because we can only feature like 2 guys at a time. or 4 guys at a time.
Yeah.
So
And having a little look at the deck list, I was surprised. I didn't see many flavors of like the aggressive decks. I don't think so. There was no blue green Merfolk.
oh right.
You know, sort of the new tribe. So I thought there might be like a mono white or white black vampires deck because they're super, you know, untested, but they have Rivalry of Ixalan gave them new cards, and then with Team Energy not being around anymore, it's like, right, this is a
I can do a lot of shenanigans.
Especially, you know, starting like Sky March Aspirant into Adante Vanguard into Mavrim Fane, you know, just going like vampires can go 1, 2, 3 foot up the curve. All right, okay, you're dead.
Yeah.
And have lifelink as well, incidental lifelink. Yep. But I think what I've seen is there's a lot of mid-range decks. So people playing like you know, the Grixis Energy now, which is more control. He has the Glint Sleeve Siphoners in it as well, of Whirl of Virtuoso. So they're still trying to generate the energy, but they're not in green anymore because the best, you know. So you go away from green, which gives you the like pure energy generation, and dip into black, which gives you the removal. So you get like Vraska's Contempt and things like that. But yeah, we'll see. We'll see. I mean, both of Pichun and Calvin brought relatively aggressive decks to the table.
Oh, okay. Short update here. Upper bracket, Lun Yi and Ilham takes game 1. So, of course, Lun Yi is not playing against Ilham. So, Lun Yi and Ilham both take game 1. Lun Yi is playing against Sheikh Amiruddin, and Ilham is playing against... Who is Ilham playing against?
Playing against Ken, yeah.
Oh, okay, so he's playing against Ken. So, yeah, these two players are... Well, it's only game 1. Magic is round. So, we... Might see an upset. Who knows? Yeah. Anyway, back to the game with Pichun and Calvin. Pichun there. Let's update the scores. Pichun here took 1 game to 0.
And we're going to see Calvin on the draw. I'm going to see Calvin on the draw now, on the play now.
Yeah.
So we're going to see if maybe he gets off to the same start that Pichun, like you know, similar. Turn 1, turn 2, turn 3, just attack. And especially in the you know, the sort of aggressive mirror match, being on the play is such a huge advantage.
Oh, for sure. Well, Pichun, like, even if he loses this game, like, he has the advantage going into the last game because he'll go first. Yeah. And throughout this entire tournament, like the importance of seeding. You know, we had the tournament over the entire year, like, you know, 12 months, 3 seasonal qualifiers where you could get, you know, your championship points, but you know, we didn't really see how important it was until the end of the year when the invitationals came out. Like, being the first place to see it, being able to go first, being able to draft first. Like, you don't get stuck with players like Kelvin Chen in your pot.
Playing mono red control.
Playing mono red control where like everybody just fear. The fear is real.
Yeah.
So
and here we see Calvin Chen start off with a turn 1 Bomat carry attack for 1.
And turn 2 will be
the same. Yeah.
Right,
and then Pichun just on an inspiring vantage and Scrap Heap Scrounger as well. So really, this is what you know. This is what the deck wants to do. Turn 1 Bomat Courier, turn 2 Scrap Heap Scrounger. Pichun nothing on turn 1 and 2.
Pichun looks like he is just setting up. Like, he needs black mana.
So I think he has an Abrade in hand to swear Scrap Heap Scrounger, but still take another damage down to 17. And that Bomat Courier has 3 cards under it now.
Yeah, pretty decent. Of course, Kelvin here just wondering, okay, do I... Ooh.
And Lost Legacy.
What is he calling out for? This is... Alright, yeah.
So let's bring this up on screen. This is...
Lost Legacy was very, very popular and then very, very unpopular for, for a while. Let's see.
Oh, wow. So he's... So
what did he name for?
He named Hazaret.
Alright, okay, so... Hazaret is a good call. I think he could have named Chandra or Hazaret. Both of them are very difficult to deal with when you're playing red and black. I was expecting maybe one of these decks to play, or at least Kelvin's deck to play, what's that? Vraska's Contempt. That's a very, you know, that gets rid of Hazaret and Chandra.
Yeah. And Calvin just having a little look to check that the Hazarets are out, but he was also having a look to see what Pichun sided in, and Pichun had Settle the Wreckages in.
Wow,
I think I saw him, Calvin thumbed up a Settle the Wreckage to be like, all right, I need to write, and I think he's writing down at the moment.
This one is coming soon. But Pichun here just stuck on red lands. Sorry, stuck on black. He needs some black mana to be able to go off a little bit.
Yeah, and he's going to be able to draw cards now, presumably. Oh no, for each card from the hand. Okay.
Yeah. It's only when
So Spire of Industry.
And if Kelvin here can make sure that there are no artifacts on the battlefield.
Scrap Heat Scrounger, and then a Fatal Push on Bomat Courier.
Right.
So no value from the Bomat Courier there.
Yeah, well, it's something that your opponent needs to respect. Like, if you let that Bomat Courier run loose, then, you're giving your opponent a lot of card advantage. And you're thinking just, 1 point of damage each turn can mean the difference between victory or, getting a loss. So let's see.
So you can see a Night Market Lookout for Calvin Chen.
What?
Yeah, so it's a single black for a 1/1 that has whenever this card is tapped, your target opponent loses 1 life. This is obviously in the deck to crew some vehicles.
Of course.
Right, this is in the deck to crew an Aether Harvester.
Yep.
Scrap Heat Scrounger in for 3. Calvin down to 17.
Assumedly Calvin going to bring back his own Scrap Heat Scrounger.
Yep, end of turn. It's going to exile the Bomat Courier. Scrap Heat Scrounger comes back.
Alright. Stop. Pause. Unlicensed Disintegration.
And a Chandra in hand as well, yeah. Yeah, so Unlicensed Disintegration, targeting Scrap Heat Scrounger. And then in response, Fatal Push on...
So yours dies, mine dies, everybody dies. But of course Calvin doesn't take the
3
damage, yeah.
I think.
Yeah. Pichun trying to, drain Calvin of a little bit of his mana.
Yep. And then
I'm gonna take a bit of damage.
Take
here.
2, go down to 13. Oh, they haven't changed the life total on the... So now we see a clear board and Pichun has access to a Chandra Torch of Defiance.
Oh man. You cast it -3? Would you?
Or to get rid of the Night Market Lookout.
Yeah. I could,
that does leave it that does leave it dead to a Bomat Courier though.
That's true. You could just tick it up and then force Calvin to either deal with it or potentially could just lose the game.
Yep, and he's gonna 4 mana. Chandra Torch of Defiance. And we'll see. I think he's assessing whether he wants to... Yeah, he's going to just 0. Exile the Scrap Heat Scrounger. And then Calvin's going to take 2 life. Should tell them to use it.
So they're, 13 and 15 respectively, right? Pichun. Okay, so Pichun now goes down to 11. Yep. Gotta... Oh, okay, no. James. It's okay. Looks like they've updated. Oh, Night Market Lookout is you gain a life.
You gain a life.
Yeah. So Calvin here down to 16, up to 17. Yep. Because he took 2 damage and then he gained 2 life as well. And Pichun here down to 12, unfortunately. Yeah. So let's see.
And then Inspiring Vantage off the top for Pichun. +1 Chandra. Also Lightning Strike.
Lightning Strike can go to the face, can go to the creature. I think it goes to the creature.
And we're going to see, Lightning Strike to the Night Market Lookout. Okay. And then play Inspiring Vantage and pass back the turn.
So let's see. Calvin now has the ability to bring back the...
Scrap Heap Scrounger.
Yeah. Mark giving us a bit more news. Oh, no. No news.
And you see a braid there on Scrap Heap Scrounger.
Oh man, that Scrap Heap Scrounger just keeps coming back.
Can't get a break, can it? And then a second Scrap Heap Scrounger for Calvin.
Where are the magma sprays?
But it's, I think Pichun Pichun just drew a Lightning Strike as well.
Hazaret.
A Set of the Wreckage. It's going to get exiled though.
Right enough. What are those 2 marks on the?
So I think they're the GP marks.
Ah, okay, right.
Or Pichun just likes damage cards.
Yeah. I like damage cards.
Do you like damage cards?
I really like it shows character.
Character.
I've been played. I've been around.
Wow, and a Hazaret for Calvin Chen with one card in hand.
Okay.
Lightning strikes the Scrappy Scrounger.
Alright, so Chandra drops down to 1.
But Hazaret on an
Yeah,
empty
it's-
board with one card in hand. And Peachin just drew a Spire of Industry.
But he's drawing an extra card each turn.
But it just, land off the top as well.
Oh, yo. And here's the interesting thing. Calvin can just like toss a card
God, at
and
the
then deal
Chandra.
5, deal 5 damage to you. I think you get rid of their braid.
Wow, the Settle the Wreckage would have been ideal against the Hazaret now.
Yeah. I wonder how many Settle Wreckage Pichun here is playing.
2 or 3, I would imagine.
Mm-hmm.
Wow, and he drew an Eighth Sphere Harvester off the top of the deck, but
Yeah, you
not
need a
ideal.
creature,
Yeah,
you need a
I think
creature.
he's looking to see if he has anything creatures in the graveyard to get Scrap Heap Scrounger back.
Doesn't look like
But
it. Man, this entire game has been a little bit weird because Pichun's just been drawing removal and just nothing to.
Yeah, and he obviously had his Hazaret stripped out by Lost Legacy as well.
Right.
So yeah, I think he's just wondering
Oh,
what he
wait.
can do
Did Kelvin have 2 cards in hand
when he attacked.
when he attacked? He did, right?
Oh yeah, they've
Yep.
So their judge is being called.
Oh, okay. All right. So
So what's happened is when last turn Hazaret attacked Chandra with 2 loyalty counters on it.
Mhm.
Now at the time, Calvin Chen had 2 cards in hand, so that Hazaret couldn't attack.
yeah.
So in this
actually-
situation, what happens?
Okay. So in this situation, we go back to. Oh man, too many. Okay, it's quite complicated because cards have been drawn, but ideally we go back to a point where, especially since we were watching a game, like we go back to a point where they go where. Yeah, we saw. Okay, so
What would the ruling be?
this is competitive REL. So the ruling will probably be that we try not to. There's not much that we can do. But we have to go back to the previous board state, and we actually have to go back to a point where
The
the
error
attack,
has been-
yeah, the error was made that at the attack step. So we have to go back to. So we rewind all the way to the attack step.
Can we
You
rewind
know how to
that
do?
far?
Yeah, can.
So, but he drew a card already, so I need to return
I
the
know.
card to the top.
Yeah. So you return random card to the top of the library. There's not going to be any effect to it.
Okay.
Yeah. And then
So he'll keep his combat basically.
so we'll go to the start of combat already.
Oh, start combat.
So we roll back all the way to the start of combat. Chandra is still on the battlefield.
So just clarifying the rule
Yeah.
there. So we're going to rewind.
So there's so we call it a backup. So this is not a very simple backup. A simple backup would be like, oh, okay, we just go back to the previous state. So a bit more complicated, but yeah, technically this is a quote unquote a simple backup, which we will go back to that previous board state, where we have Chandra on the battlefield, and then 1 card goes on top of the library. Where did you put 2 cards? Yeah, okay.
So we're now in Calvin Chen's. Pre-combat.
Start of- yeah, pre-combat.
Yeah.
No, it's not pre-combat main phase.
It's
This is at the start of combat.
Okay.
Which means that if he wants to attack, like he has to discard a card to deal 2.
So I think that's what
damage.
he's thinking about. He's now going to tap 3 mana to discard a card.
Yeah, I think you get rid of the braid. Like there's no.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna deal you 2 points of damage, and yeah, we go back to. Actually, you could have attacked.
He could have attacked because he has 1 card in hand, but I
Yeah.
think he's just missed.
So I don't
Miss
know
it.
whether Mark communicated. So here's the other thing. Like you all at home heard that. I'm not sure whether Mark communicated that well enough to Kelvin, because like we saw. Okay, I'm not trying to bash Mark, but like judging is tough. Judging is hard, and sometimes we make mistakes. As a judge, it's okay. So,
So, yeah.
but sometimes also as players we make mistakes.
Yeah,
Uh-huh.
and Peachun's just scoops it up.
Yeah,
He
there's
just-
no way out of this. Like you know, you lost your Chandra, you lost
Yep.
a significant amount of game
Yep.
at this point. Let's see. Is our other feature match still playing? Oh, okay. Looks like they're shuffling out. Maybe Weng Heng won that match. Maybe. I'm not sure. The fact that they're still shuffling up, they're still, sitting at the table. We're gonna transition over. Oh, now the screen is in the bottom right hand corner. How cool is that? Although it covers the logo and stuff. Anyway.
So we've got 2 updates as well.
Oh,
So Shi Xiang beat Reeve Chia 2-0 and Ikai Wu beat Danny Seat 2-1. So
okay.
so they were both
In the
bottom bracket matches.
yeah.
So Danny Seat out.
Out.
One
of
and
the
done.
competition. Yeah, that's
Reeves
it.
Chia, one and done.
Yep.
Congratulations on picking up $150.
It's okay, man.
Don't spend it
Top
all at
16,
once.
don't maybe buy a box. You have some change from that. We're not spending it all at once, man. Come on, give me that. But yeah, that was our first elimination. Danny here drops out of the competition, as well as Reeve. But it's okay.
Yeah, but congratulations to both
they
getting to the dance. At least they were at the dance.
That's why it's 16 players.
You gotta-
it's a little bit tough.
You got to be here, to get a chance to win the prize, and there are a lot of people who
Danny-
didn't make it.
Funny story. Danny, talking about like you have to have a chance to be here. Danny almost didn't make it to the competition because we had Wei Teng. Wei Teng was actually way much higher seed than Danny was, but Wei Teng couldn't come today, so he had to forfeit like his
Heartbreaking.
his position to somebody else, and Danny was next on the list.
So you're saying Danny should give Waiting his entire prize money?
No, like I believe the what's happening is that he's not exactly Wei Teng's proxy, but both of them should be splitting the prize somehow. Yeah, but that's still a good day's work. You just sit down, you have a deck, you play, and you see how it goes. But Wei Teng also, Wei Teng is quite a strong player. I wouldn't doubt like if he were here today, all of these guys are strong players, so maybe the result would have been the same. Maybe it would have been different.
Yeah.
Somebody has got to lose, right?
Yeah.
It's okay. So Zhong versus Weng Heng. So it looks like it's gone 1-1. Like we saw the last match. Let's update the scores.
Yep.
It should be 1-1, but we're not quite sure.
Yeah. And you see 2 shocks for Zhong there.
Not ideal.
No, he's not putting much pressure on the board, although we see him draw. He has no land.
No,
he has
he needs a
no
land.
third land. Yeah, I think he mulliganed and no third land. And then Weng saying,
Weng Heng
Weng Heng-
now just taking control of this game.
I guess all Weng Heng wants to do is just play mana every turn up until turn 6. There we go.
And the not New Horizons. What's the Horizon Canopy something?
No, it's
Fresh Canopy. I don't know. Anyway, it gives you 3 life.
it's 3 life, and a gift of discovery, gift of paradise,
Give of Paradise.
gift of
yeah,
paradise.
that's the one.
Another Amonkhet All Star limited All Star.
Okay, so Weng Heng there laying the extra land, trying to lay the extra land. Weng Heng, what are you trying to do?
Yeah.
Uh,
So
Zhong here just
Zhong
needs
needs
a
a
land.
land. He needs a land
full stop.
right
Land.
now. He needs a mountain, any land right now.
Oh,
There
yeah,
it is,
okay, so
sun-scorched desert. And we're going to see an Arncrop Crasher which attacks for 3.
No?
The deck list is up, so you can go and see.
Oh, okay.
Yep.
Where the leg list?
The same folder as where the other deck list is.
Oh, man.
Okay.
Too many. Okay.
Can you print a copy of
Okay.
Wolf's signature?
All right.
So yeah, we're going to see
What? Oh, Beneath the Sand.
Beneath the Sands. Yeah, so that's 2 and a green for a basic land tapped and recycling for 2 colorless.
Not very efficient, but
But it does the job though.
yeah, that's the job, right?
Goes to get a basic swamp,
And it's got cycling.
and it's got cycling.
Yeah.
Weng Heng still has 2 mana available because of the Gift of Paradise.
Yeah. Which he could play. What's that card? The one that gains you 2 life when you cycle.
Give renewed faith.
Yeah, renewed faith.
So maybe end step he's going to cycle for renewed faith. Another 3 for Weng Heng. I believe that Weng Heng's now at 9. Okay.
Wow. Okay. Oh, what are these creatures?
So the one on the right is the single red from Amonkhet, which has got. Is that another one that has haste? It deals 1 damage,
right,
but
yeah.
I don't know why he didn't attack with it.
Yeah.
If not,
I'm
unless he
curious.
just wants to ping him for 1 point damage at end turn. And here we go, New Horizons,
New perspective.
new perspective. Sorry, yeah.
Yeah. Let's keep watching this. This is a hand chock full of lands.
So I
and
see.
spells.
So yeah. So here we go. So he's
Yeah,
got.
I'm gonna just show you
Okay, right. Here we go. Zongi scooped it up.
everything. No, the like.
Yeah, he's not going to win from there. You saw
He's definitely not
the
gonna Okay, so Shefet monitor. Go
Get-
get him an extra land. You discard the
Vizier of the Tumbling Sands to untap
untap
with
stuff.
your Gift of Paradise.
Oh my
And then he
God.
has the Shadow of the Grave that returns everything you discarded back to your hand.
and then you can do it again.
And then you can do it again.
And then you just go until you find your second sunrise.
Wow.
Right?
Wow. And
Insane.
Zongi
And
just.
Zongi is like, yeah,
Wow.
okay, you win.
And apparently that's the plan for the new Perspectives deck against Mono Red. You just hope that they only hit 2 lands.
Hopefully my opponent goes like 3 lands on turn 4 or turn 5, and I'll win the game. And yeah, Weng Heng here just handily takes it, and yeah, I was kind of like
Skeptical.
What was beneath the sand, seriously, and a bit skeptical about the performance of this deck. But yeah, Weng Heng pulls it out and takes it. Takes Zhong Yi to the cleaners.
Right.
Let's see.
So you see Chun with a Heart of Kiran on the battlefield. Calvin Chen turn 2 has a Night Market Lookout, but nothing else.
Yeah. Oh, he's got fatal pushes. He's got,
So, veteran motorists. So Chun's going to scry 2. And I think we're going to see 1 on the top, 1 on the bottom.
Okay, so I think he keeps the Aethersphere Harvester, right? And chooses not to attack. Interesting.
I think he might be worried about Fatal Push.
Right.
No, he's crewing the vehicle. Yeah, there we see Fatal Push. Yep.
Yeah, couldn't drop that card faster, man.
And then Inspiring Vantage passes the turn.
No lands.
What a good trade though for Calvin, just being able to Fatal Push a Heart of Kiran.
Yeah, I mean, like, it's, you leave behind the veteran motorist. The veteran motorist isn't that great a blocker. And
wow.
You have your own Heart of Kiran here.
Wow.
All right. We are going back to. I mean, what month is this? This is.
It's like 2007. It's like early 2017. Yeah.
What year is this?
Yeah.
Come
Scrap
on.
Heap Scrounger for Chun, and then a
Fragmentize. Okay, let's get rid of the.
the Heart of Kiran.
Oh, sorry, the artifact.
Swamp for Calvin Chen. And what's
Yeah, I don't think he wants to fire off the unlicensed disintegration just yet. Glintleaf Siphoner here will be a nice, a nice play, but he probably wants to get down an artifact.
so he has a Scrap Heap Scrounger in his hand.
Yeah, but Scrap Heap Scrounger is not going to be doing anything unless, of course, he leaves behind the Night Market Lookout to block
the veteran
veteran
motors.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, no,
No,
we're just
you're
going to
just
see him
gonna
come
go
in
in?
for 2.
Okay.
So down to 16, and then Calvin back up to 19.
I think you go like the Scrap Heap Scrounger first. Try to
Yep.
set up for the next 2 turns because this incidental damage is pretty good. It's
Yeah, the night market lookout, if it can get in for a couple of points of damage and then start crewing some vehicles, it's a spell that I don't think your opponent really doesn't want to use a fatal push
Like a
or
solid,
or an
like,
unlicensed
yeah.
disintegration. It's probably the worst target in the deck. But sometimes, you're just put into a position where you have to, and you just and at that point, Calvin Chen just feels so good.
That's true. Yeah. Yes.
But Chun has a Settle the Wreckage in hand.
I'm wondering whether he wants to play it because
So I think he's going to leave. He's going to play something this turn, and then they're right. Is that for
so no more dice? Yeah, no more dice.
And
anymore.
So Aether Sphere Harvester then passes the turn back. An Ether Hub for Calvin.
I think this is one of the better draws that Calvin can have. All right, so yeah, they are going to write down the amount of energy that they have. So Calvin here has 1 energy for something that's more permanent. Like they just updated the rulings for energy and yeah, how you keep your life totals and stuff like that. Interesting. I imagine it was.
I imagine people knocked over die when I had 10 energy.
Yep, exactly. That must have happened.
And then, convenient. I can, harness lightning, confiscation, coup, everything now. I promise,
Yeah.
But yeah, we just see.
I didn't lie.
Yeah, we just see an attack from Calvin, and then passes the turn back, leaving.
So these two players are racing. Like
and
against this Siphoner's got menace.
Yeah.
We've got something that you don't really want to block in the form of 3/2. 3/2 artifact.
And you see that Calvin, I think, has an Abrade in hand, and I think he may have a lightning strike as well, but I'm not sure on the lightning strike. But he hasn't, so he's left 2 mana up to represent the Abrade. Right, and we're going to see a crew.
Oh, this is dangerous. I think you just swing in. Ah, jeez. All right, crew, swing.
So presumably Chun now uses 1 energy, or does he wait to see if Calvin uses the Abrade? Here we go. Yeah, right. So he's going to use 1 energy to give it lifelink. Then Calvin's going to use Abrade on the Aether Sphere Harvester.
Yeah, I don't think you should. I think no, you definitely have to do it. Like you want to gain some life, you have to put in the energy, and that's the only time like Calvin will strike.
So this game just seems like it's poised on a knife edge at the moment.
Like it could just
go tilt either way, because both recursive board threats.
But I think like looking at Calvin's hand, I think Calvin has the advantage here. He's got to watch out for that.
Settle the wreckage, yeah, because now Chun's he's just left 5 mana open. So an attack here with all his creatures, he's like, this feels really good, and then all of a sudden settle the wreckage.
This is a question of how good is Chun's poker face. Like, is he going to reveal to his? I
know there it is. Oh, and I think Chun's taking it.
What?
Oh no, he's taken the 1 damage from Night Market Lookout, and then he's going to settle the wreckage.
Oh man. No, does Calvin fire off the
unlicensed disintegration
right now? I think you do, right? You just fire off, bang.
So you just want to get the 3 points of damage in.
Yep.
Yeah, there it is, unlicensed disintegration.
All right, gets rid of veteran motorist, and also deals Chun 3 points of damage. No biggie.
Wow. You see Calvin like hand on head.
It's like, what? I didn't see that.
But
he looked through.
Yeah, so Calvin deck. In game 2 when he cast Lost Legacy, Calvin thumbed through the deck, saw Settle the Wreckage, pulled it to the front of the deck, and then wrote on his piece of paper, Settle the Wreckage. So he's aware. I wonder if he thinks that Chun might have sided it out if he's going. But because Chun's going first as well, maybe he thought Chun might go, I'm on the play again, so I'm just literally going to go aggressive. Wow. But wow, a 3 for 1.
Man, yeah. Calvin
and has Calvin got his lands?
Yeah, did he not look for...
Yeah, I think he needs to go and look for some lands.
Yeah. Just like a short ruling, like you actually are supposed to tell, check with your opponent if you are going to look for lands or not.
I think there's a dispute, right?
Yeah.
So I think that's what they're... Yeah.
Okay. So where's Mark?
No, how's there?
Oh, how's there? So you are supposed to remind your opponent, are you not going to look for your land?
Oh, so the Settle the Wreckage player has to remind their opponent.
Right.
Okay, so no.
Else can be construed as can be construed as cheating or
Is that intentional?
Yeah, if you do it intentionally, like we'll look into it. But
So the policy changes out, like they want to protect more players, especially the
yeah,
Path to Exile.
of course. Yeah, Path to Exile, like the simple
Yeah.
the simple ruling is Path to Exile. Like you have to remind your opponent
To go and get their land.
to go
Yeah.
and check for lands. Yeah, and in this case, like I think it's just
Power
a simple
is coming,
remedy. It's just a simple remedy that
Okay, so we're gonna
just
get
look for the
a ruling.
Settle the wreckage.
Yes,
He missed the trigger.
it's not a trigger. Okay.
It's not, he missed he didn't search.
So,
Alright, and he passed the turn.
Question: did Pichun remind Kelvin? Did you not search for your lands?
No.
Okay. So Pichun is in the wrong.
This is a new rule.
This is a new policy. So we go back to the point where
He is at the point of
we are resolving. Yeah. So yeah.
Okay.
So both players also get a game rule violation.
Okay, so just some clarity there that we're gonna rewind.
Then you can close the door.
We're gonna rewind it back to.
Not really.
But we're gonna make sure that Calvin gets the 3 basic lands out of his deck.
Correct. Yeah.
And then Pichun can continue on with his turn.
Yeah. It's part of there's a new policy change that came in that kicked in about 3 months ago. Where you have to remind your opponent that that they are you maybe not remind your opponent that they're supposed to search, but you
have to tell your opponent
you have
to search.
yeah
You have to tell.
you have to ask your opponent, do you not want to search, like something along those lines.
Well, it's written on the. It's the searching is on the. It happens when Settle the Wreckage resolves, right?
Okay.
So
Yes, correct. But prior to this, what will happen is that we assume that you are not going to search. If you no questions needed to be asked, but we're going to assume if you let it go, we're going to assume that you're not going to search for whatever it is you wanted to search for. Whereas in this case, you have to check with your opponent.
Okay.
So there have been quite a few policy changes that were if your opponent forgot, you don't have to say anything, and then you just
So it's designed to not punish you for forgetting what's on the card.
yeah.
Yeah.
A is supposed to help new players. That mic is off, by the way. A is supposed to help new players, and B, it's supposed to just openly communicate these things, because sometimes you play really quickly. I Path to Exile, okay. Sometimes I forget to look for that land.
Yep.
And
And there we see, so Pichun just had a follow-up Toolcraft Exemplar, attack for scrap each Grander and pass the turn back.
Mm-hmm.
So you see Calvin now has a lot of land, and he has cards that he can reasonably deploy in his hand as well.
Is that Vraska's Contempt? No.
So he has a Glint Sleeve Siphoner.
Right. What is
At
that
least.
card that he is shuffling? That's a Vraska's Contempt,
Yeah,
right?
so he's going to start off with Glint Sleeve Siphoner,
So it goes
up to 2 energy.
So energy is still okay.
Harder to generate though now, because it was the green cards.
It was that one card.
That one amazing
That one-
card.
Yeah, the
that
maze balls.
died for every. Well, no, that and Rogue Refiner were the ones that generated the energy.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Free card, free creature.
Glint Sleeve Siphoner does it, but it does it a lot slower. So you're going to see end of turn Fatal Push on Glint Sleeve Siphoner, and then pass back Pichun. Play.
This morning, the SCG had the feature, right? So the feature one was energy. Then the feature was like, yes, you ban energy and you feature energy. Wow.
So good.
So we're
But
going
let's start City Games.
So we're going to see Bomat Courier, and I think we're just going to see an attack for 7 here. Or I think they'll... And then this is where Bomat Courier is really powerful as well, where you have no cards in hand and you can just...
You just sacrifice it and then draw an extra card, right?
Yeah, and you have the ability to keep up the red mana now because you've got, 5 or so lands.
Wormcrypt in the chat saying, I wish I missed the time when people had to know their cards. Lol.
Oh, I just remember that the rules used to be so much different. It was like
for sure.
it was like, oh, you don't know every nuance of this card, or I'm gonna get you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, I'm gonna use every. There is something in the Magic tournament rules that you can use every information, all the information to get the upper hand.
What?
There is something in the MPR
And here we go,
that
yeah.
players can use their intricate knowledge of the game to get the upper hand.
Wow, Vraska's contempt on the Scrap Heap Scrounger.
All right, so that gets rid of the Scrap Heap Scrounger, but Chun here is still able to deal 4 points of damage.
Yeah.
Kelvin here not able to get rid of all the artifacts on the battlefield. It wasn't counting. I don't think it was counting.
And another Glint Sleeve Siphoner. Wow. Calvin has seen all of the Glint Sleeve Siphoners. He's just seen they are in the hand and in the deck right there. I'm going to see. And another Bomat Courier. Wow.
Very nice.
Okay. I think he's going to turn all his cards sideways.
Man,
Get 2 triggers on the Bomat Courier.
Kelvin here,
Wow.
I
Just
block.
do you block?
No, I blocked the
Wow, unlicensed disintegration on the Toolcraft Exemplar, but no 3 points of damage. He's just using that as a 3 mana destroy your creature.
Still good, man. You
Still has to do
You're
it.
preventing 3 points of damage going to your face. So man, this is really tight. Like,
Yeah. And Calvin untap.
okay, so Kelvin should be down to 4.
He should be
right
down
now,
to 4. Yeah.
So it means the game.
Yeah. Down to
3.
Yep, 3.
okay, and we're gonna see Calvin draws.
All right. Okay. So he took the 1 point of damage of.
Yeah, and he's gonna use the 2 energy from Glint Sleeve made by Glint Sleeve Siphoner to draw a card.
Mm-hmm.
Plays a swamp.
Oh, this is tough. Like, he's got Vraska's Contempt, but he can't hit the Bomat Courier. Because in response, like, Chun can
Just
like,
sacrifice it.
and then, like, he doesn't get the
life gain.
life gain, yeah.
And and so a Hazaret off the top for Calvin would have won him
Yeah.
the game, unless Peachin. Oh, well, he doesn't. Yeah, there's no.
He's got no cards in it.
no cards to.
Like, he could sacrifice, okay, so you could sacrifice one of the Bomat Couriers.
But he would need to hit a Settle the Wreckage, but then he doesn't have enough mana to cast it. So so Calvin didn't draw a Hazaret. We know that for sure.
Path to Exile, man. Path to Exile.
So attack for 2. Wow. Gain another energy.
One Chris is asking, you miss a trigger, hey, you don't get it. Yeah, it still applies today. You miss a trigger, you still won't get it. But in that case, that's not a trigger, man. That's the resolution of a spell. So it's part of the resolution of a spell. You gotta ask your opponent, hey man, did you put the land already? Did you take the land?
Attack for 2. Another. So Bomat Couriers have so many cards now.
Mm-hmm. Kelvin here is, assuming he goes down to 1, dead to many cards, dead to a shock, dead to
Lightning Strike.
lightning strike, sunscorched desert.
And this is so tight. Yeah, Vraska's Contempt.
I'm gonna try to get rid of one of your guys,
And yeah, in response, Peachin's going to sacrifice.
and this is even worse. Like, well, there's a lightning strike inside. Nope.
No, so the cards he drew were an Inspiring Vantage and a Scrap Heap Scrounger.
Mm-hmm.
Oh no, sorry,
Scrap Heap
it looks like a Canyon Slow
and a Scrap Heap Scrounger.
and a Scrap Heap Scrounger, yeah. And then Calvin down to 2. Oh, this is so close.
Like, he plays as Scrap Heap Scrounger, Kelvin still wins if he draws a Hazaret or he draws a burn spell. Like, this is how close the game is. I think you sacrifice the Bomat Courier to draw 3.
So if you're Calvin, do you use your energy to draw a card now?
Yes.
Yeah.
Because presumably you want a Hazaret.
Man, if I were Chun, I'd just like sacrifice that Bomat Courier.
You just want the extra cards.
Yeah.
So Scrap Heap Scrounger, yeah, and he passes a turn.
Because you could draw a lightning strike off those 3 cards.
Yeah,
right?
so Calvin's going to pay. He's gone down to 1. Well, he's
Yeah,
at
1
1
and-
life. It doesn't
2
matter.
and 1
Doesn't make a
is the same.
difference. So draw a card. Oh, what's that? That's an Abrade.
Oh, not enough.
And he's going to draw for turn as well.
Yep.
Oh, he's really slow
Lightning
rolling
strike.
himself.
Lightning strike. Oh, it's Vraska's Contempt.
Another one. So I think he's looking now to see Is he looking at how many creatures P-Chun has in the graveyard to get Scrap Heap Scrounger back?
Mm.
Oh, and you can see P-Chun. Look how uncomfortable he is. He just
He's
really.
like, what do you have? What do you have?
Oh,
sir?"
so a night market lookout. So it wasn't. It was a night market lookout.
All right. Okay.
But that's another blocker. Do you attack with the Glint Sleeve Siphoner here?
Well, that's a braid, right?
Yeah.
I'd be worried if there were a haste creature.
Okay.
Like I think the best draw that Pichu could have.
Oh,
would
he's
be
passing
the
turn.
Uncrop Crasher.
Okay. So he's passing the turn back, and then at the end of turn, P-Chun's going to get his Scrap Heap Scrounger.
Yeah.
And in response... Oh, no, he's not. He's... And then what does P-Chun draw? Oh, P-Chun drew a Hazoret.
Okay.
Oh, that's game. So he's just going to...
That's game.
Oh, wow.
Yep, he's at 1 life. Like, he has to...
So block there. Take 3. Yeah, and he's going to shake the
that's a
hand.
shake. Long round 1. This is like aggro deck versus aggro deck, and that was pretty long.
I think that's the last match.
Is that?
Yeah,
I think that was the last match in round 4.
Okay, so we're going to, we're going to round 2 fairly quickly. We'll update. Well, we'll come back the next round and update what has happened so far to the standings. But looks like Pichun gonna make it through. Kelvin here gets knocked down. He's not out yet.
No,
He's not
bottom
out.
bracket now.
Now, yeah,
Lower
he's
bracket.
Lower bracket. He will be playing for his life. Play for my life.
So just yeah. So we've had 4 people eliminated, so 12 people left in the tournament now.
Right. And then we're gonna have another 4
4
people eliminated in the
nah.
next round. So who knows, man? Who knows?
Okay.
And then we're gonna have another 3 people eliminated the next round. Oh yeah. Tense. It's gonna be. This is fun. Like double elimination is like so fun.
High pressure magic.
Yeah.
High pressure magic.
Well, if you're in the upper bracket, it's not
Yeah.
that high pressure, but like you want to keep the streak going, right? All right, we're going to go for a short break, but we'll be back with round 5 of the GOG 2017 Invitationals very soon, so don't go away.